So from the inside, we're going to have Sean Quinn. He is, I can't remember what club he's from. Did I write it down? No, I did not. We're just going to say of Ireland. Sean Quinn of Ireland. He's run 8:25 for the event in July of last year and then went on to represent Ireland in the cross country. So an Irish international athlete already. We've got Tom Elfenbein, the partner of Zoe Toland, currently residing in Northern Ireland but just recently moved over here. We've got Thomas Moran, sorry, I think he uses Thomas. Shane Spring of Verhini Shamrock. We've got Wolfgang Kotra Nemesis, the 20-year-old from Australia, hasn't run a 3K this year as they take to their marks. Gavin Curtin, Shane Moran, Stephen Scullion, Conal McLean, Jimmy Sloan, Oisin Davis, Joseph Niven, Shay O'Donnell, and it is all paced by Max Sherrington in 64 seconds per lap. So 8 minutes dead or so, if we can keep that going. Hoping to go through 800 in about 208 and a K in 240. So we'll keep an eye on that pacing as we go through. But it looks like the Australian international who was racing in one of our races earlier on, Max Shervington, is going to be taking this one out. I believe he's closely followed by Wolfgang Kotra Nemesis, his fellow Australian, the under-23 athlete, following in close order there. Going through the first 200 metres in around 33-34 seconds. So keeping to that pace that they have designated, a little bit quicker than that, and the field is pretty well stretched out already, Jeff, actually, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's our largest field of the day with 16 athletes, and it is a pretty serious bit of pacemaking going on in front. Shervington is a famous name in Australian running circles. I started to look up whether it's any relation to Matt, but I wasn't completely sure of whether it was S-H-I, S-H-E, so it is a well-known name phonetically. There's a few of them. You can't always tell these days with spikes that appear to be wearing road racing flats. I think Steve Scullion is definitely wearing road racing flats. So there's a few people coming down from road distances to this as one of the longer track options.
Yeah, Conal McLean, who's of Candor Track Club, I think he's currently positioned in about 5th or 6th place there, number 125. He's got a pretty decent 5K time as well, broke 14 minutes twice this year already, and I think he's aiming to run sub 8. So we'll see if that is still going to be on in a few laps time. We'll keep an eye on that 800 meter pace as they are going to be coming through that pretty quickly. But Max Shervington is still keeping pace, and Wolfgang Kotra Nemesis, also of Australia, is kind of tucked in closely behind him. Yeah, there's plenty of athletes still involved here, which is great. 2 from Candor, I believe, 2 Australians, obviously including that pacemaker as well. And Shane Spring of Verhini Shamrock, I think, is just kind of at the back of that field. So plenty of Irish and international action here. I think there's one of the athletes I remember when I was looking up is based, one of our kind of American-based athletes as well. He seems to be wearing a collegiate strip there. We'll get a little look. He's 119. So that is Gavin Curtin. I don't know if the numbers are correct, but Gavin Curtin has a collegiate Old Miss top on. I'm not sure if he actually runs for Old Miss. But in second place behind that pacemaker is Oliver McDonald of Giffick North. And they're coming through there in 2:41. So I think they're still going okay through that kilometre. That's pretty much on pace to break 8 minutes, and yeah, they look to be going quite well. Pacemaker's still in there, Jeff, which is good to see, and they're pretty much everyone's still in contention. Slight gap between probably 5th position and 6th position there, back to did I say Gavin Curtin, but not too bad. They're all packing well.
It's a nice smooth bit of pacemaking being done in front. You can feel like he's confident in what he's doing. You can tuck in behind him. It's nice and even and smooth. Nice windbreak. So let's hope that he can stay out there for as long as possible. Max Shervington at least to halfway, which is a minute or so from now. The name of the day, it's been robbed from Setanta. Wolfgang Kotra Nemesis. What a top name for the Australian in second place. And the athlete in third, Oliver McDonald. Those are the colours of Giffnock North, which is Renfrewshire rather than Glasgow, and it's the club of Neil Gurley and Erin Wallace, who both had great success internationally.
Yeah, very recognisable vest. And then just tucked in behind him there is Thomas Moran. I think is he in the colour of Steel Harriers today, or is he in his Irish club? Tom is obviously Irish, but he's does have a Manchester club as well after being based in Manchester with his partner Kira, or fiance now I should say, for a while now. So yeah, it looks like we've got a little breakaway group of 4, which is great to see at this point. Maybe just ticking on nicely. Some of the others just struggling to keep closer order. But Max Irvington is still doing a great job here. Oh, looks like he's going to peel away now. So it's down to Wolfgang to take it on. Interesting name. Can he keep this pace going that was set really well by Max? Oliver McDonald looks like they're getting a slight gap now on Thomas Moran there. And I will try and get the number of the other athlete. I think that's Sean Quinn. Yeah, so it's Sean Quinn just behind Thomas Moran there in 4th position. And Connell McLean of Candor Track Club seems to be a bit isolated out there in 5th.
It's a career goal, sub 8 minutes, at least sub 8 for the first time. They are on schedule for it, but this is where it gets a little bit tough. This is where you've got to dig in. That nice floaty cadence that you had for the first half of the race has suddenly started to be replaced by concrete. The stride goes, the breathing is maxed out. So they've got to work hard if they want something that begins with a 7, and it is big if you can achieve it. And I say that as a 7:59.7 man. It's important.
Yeah, no, they're still... So it's Wolfgang Kotra-Nemesis and Oliver McDonald who have pulled away from Thomas Moran and Sean Quinn of DSDAC. The leaders here might still be on for the sub 8 minute clocking, but I think probably with that pacemaker going out, the pace might start to slip. But Wolfgang is really putting in all the work here with Oliver just sitting on him. Hopefully he will be able to hold him off and be rewarded for his efforts in this men's 3,000 meters. Thomas Moran just starting to make a bit of an effort to get back onto this leading group of Oliver McDonald and Wolfgang Kotra-Nemesis, leaving Sean Quinn of DSDAC in the dust a little bit. They're going to come up.
If only it were dust. If only it were dust rather than puddles.
It's actually water.
Last week, if you were watching the British Milers Club Grand Prix from Birmingham University, every time there was a visiting Irish runner, they gave a really good account of themselves. And the equivalent here is the Australians. They're touring. They're over for 2, 3, maybe 4 months if they make the World Championships as a big move comes in. But the Australians are going to make every performance count and leave their mark on the race even if they don't win it.
Yeah, we thought Thomas Moran there, he got dropped by this leading group of Oliver and Wolfgang initially. But Thomas Moran made a massive effort round the outside there. And it looks like he wants to take this on, take the race by the throat and see if he can get a win and a decent time. I'll just have a quick check here. Thomas Moran, his PB, he set it indoors last year actually on that really fast Boston University track, 8:03.88. Tom is also a sub 4 minute miler as well, and I think has broken the barrier last year on this very track in this meet, and also maybe indoors too. So yeah, getting the bell now. I don't think we're going to see a sub 8 minute clocking, but it looks like Tom Moran might be quite close to that personal best time of his, but he cannot quite shake off Oliver McDonald yet, who looks to be clinging on to him for dear life.
Good race this, down the back straight for the final time.
So yeah, it's Oliver McDonald right behind Thomas Moran of Sale Harriers and also of Ireland. He's coming up the 200 metre mark now. I don't know if Oliver McDonald's going to do it unless he can find a second or even a third gear, because Tom Moran is absolutely gunning for it at the 150 metre to go mark. We might have a little bit of a sprint finish on our hands here. We'll keep an eye on Tom's personal best of 8:03.88 that he set last year, but I think we're going to be just outside that. Tom Moran putting the head down, pumping the arms as he comes into this last 50 metres. The line will be in sight and he's about to cross it. Tom Moran, winner of the men's 3K. And I believe that is a personal best clocking, Jeff, for Thomas Moran. 8:02.30. In second place was Oliver McDonald, the under-20 athlete from Giffick North. And in third place, Wolfgang Kotra-Nemesis of Australia. He kind of led for a good bit of that race and probably found those last couple of 100 metres quite hard.
Well, it was a bold move from 500-600 metres out, but it was rewarded just with a lifetime best. Great running by Tom Moran, and good running too by Oliver McDonald, because he stuck to it, as you said, at one point with 200 to go. If he could have dug and found any more, the win was a possibility, but they both ran well, and they're both pretty chuffed with that. You can see the body language, bit of a swagger, bit of a, lift up those that less fortunate have collapsed to the track. Well done, fellas.
Oliver looks pleased with himself anyway. I think I actually didn't have any stats for him. So I'm wondering if the PB that we have listed, 8:15, is correct. Because if that is correct, he will have absolutely smashed that today. And he is he has the Irishman, Tom Moran, to thank a little bit for that. So we're going to see here, I think this is just coming into the last 200 metres. We missed that big move that Thomas actually made the lap before in a similar position. But Thomas here, you know, he definitely was there for the taking for the young Oliver McDonald from Giffick North. You know, I felt like if Oliver could have found an extra gear, he may have been able to get onto Thomas again, but Thomas was just too strong, really pulling away, pumping his arms in the last 100 metres. He looked very strong and very determined, and I think he looked very pleased with the result when he crossed the line. Very good result for Thomas Moran to finish with a PB there. At one point, I thought he was dead and buried as well. The other two early leaders, Oliver McDonald, who finished second there, and Wolfgang, actually had a bit of a gap on him. Probably with about, I would say, 500 or 600 to go. Thomas was actually off them, but managed to get back on, and that can be quite hard mentally to achieve that.
Yeah, the complexion of the race changes when you stop counting laps completed and start counting laps to go. And when you're inside the final three, you can rally. I think these are both personal bests, and it's also a meeting record for Tom Moran at 8:02. So once again, we've seen that there's nothing wrong with the conditions for the endurance side of races. It was a little bit harem-scarum for some of the sprints, but we can look forward to the rest of the card, starting with the men's B race as being a personal best possibility.